just
to
like what I was
GWP
doing.
Live. I'm your host, Isaac Hedges, joined once again by co host Jacob Ulmer. We are following severe weather cycles across the area, a number of different ones going on, a number of severe thunderstorm warnings, severe tornado warnings. In a few moments, hopefully, we will be able to have that radar picture on your screens, Jake. All you have to do is just screen share that. So, again, yes, we can now see very clearly this radar picture. So, any updates
Okay.
in the area at this point? Major
Yes, and you
developments
should
on
be able
that.
to now see us, I believe. Is that correct? I believe you can now see us.
Yes, I believe
If
that should be
everything
the
is going
case.
as smoothly. All right. I'm just going to check on a few things here. We've got a lot of different things that are popping up all at the same time. It's been a very active afternoon.
Absolutely, it has,
So,
certainly. A very active noon, followed by a very active night last night for any of the folks who may have tuned in for the live severe weather coverage last night. There was a lot of it. There seemed to be just one right after another in terms of those severe weather warnings. And there usually seems to be some method to it, some pattern to it in terms of these warnings coming around and then sort of gradually fading out. But again, things again just one right after another. It just seemed to be nonstop there for a while last night when we were covering things. Don't know how things seem to you, but again, things not nearly as severe, not looking nearly as severe now as what they were last night. But again, the possibility that they become more severe because we do have a number of different warnings in effect for the area. Jake, any new information that we should know about this?
yeah, so there was, as we mentioned, there was a warning in Boone County, but that has now expired. So we're looking pretty good on that. There is still some alarms going off here. So not exactly sure what the malfunction is with that because we don't have anything that really, okay, the alarms just went off here. So that's kind of what I was a little bit confused about there.
Wow, that's great to know. Again, appears to have been perhaps a little bit of a
Just one
malfunction
second here.
around your area with those alarms. Jake, stepping away just to double check on things, the situation going on there. Alarms were going off just moments ago. It would appear by all available standards, from what we've seen at this point, that those alarms should not have been going off. Jake, though,
Don't worry.
still on the safe
We're
side,
here.
going to double check on that. He will be back with us in a few moments. We will see exactly what happened. Jake, what was the case? Why were those alarms going off?
That was to signal that we were in the clear. So I'm not exactly sure why we need alarms for clear, but it seems kind of startling for no reason. But anyways, that's what we got going on here. They just said everything was clear across this area. But let's go ahead and get you updated because we do still have one tornado warning in effect for Audrain counties. This goes until 4:02 or until 4:30 p.m. At 4:02, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Mexico, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. So hazards include, of course, a tornado, but quarter size hail is going to be possible. This dangerous storm is going to be moving over Mexico pretty much right now. So again, it's going to be moving in there very soon. In fact, let's just go ahead and show you the velocities and see if we can see the different areas of rotation. So let's see, we've got a little bit of rotation here east of Mexico along US 54, and then we've got another area just to the west of Mexico. I think the main area is this one right here, if I had to guess, but it is possible that we could be seeing rotation with both of these areas. But I think this is the main area of concern just to the southeast of Mexico. This will continue to be moving further towards the east, so it will be moving along US Highway 54, moving towards Benton City. Benton City is going to be next in line with that tornado warning. There is also a severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect for the areas surrounding for Audrain and Callaway counties till 4:15 with a tornado possible tag. So we've got that we're watching. We do still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect across northern Boone County. This goes for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter size hail. There is a tornado possible tag with this storm north of Columbia, again away from my location, and not really seeing a whole lot right now on velocity. So nothing standing out at the moment. So that's really good news. So probably not seeing anything significant with that one, but we do still have that severe thunderstorm warning for the potential of some strong winds and hail across that area. Then we just got a new warning that was issued for southern Columbia, or southern Boone County, I should say. This also includes Fulton, Ashland. So new severe thunderstorm warning for Boone, Callaway, and Montauk counties until 5 p.m. At 4 o'clock, a severe thunderstorm was located 6 miles north of Tipton, moving east at 60 miles per hour. Hazards include 60-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar size hail. This storm will be around Jamestown at 4:15 and easily at 4:20. Other locations impacted include Sandy Hook, Wilton, McBain, Hartsburg, Guthrie, and Kingdom City. This includes Interstate 70 between mile markers 128 and 155. There is also a tornado possible tag with that storm as well. So both of these severe thunderstorm warnings have tornado possible tags for Boone County, looking particularly at the velocities here. Not anything super strong that we've got right now. We'll look here at the other radar site, and yeah, so nothing super strong poking out. I guess there is a little bit down here to the west of Jamestown, so we'll continue to watch that. An area of suspicious rotation where we do still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for that area. Again, there's also a tornado possible tag with that warning. So that is something else that we're tracking. Let's see, we've also got um, okay, let's see. Do we have any new warnings that we're watching? Okay, let's back up to the regional radar. A few new storms developing along US 65 around Lincoln. Those are not severe warned. We've got a storm just north of Wapello along US 54. Again, all of these storms down here currently do not have warnings, but they are in an unstable environment, which means that we could certainly see strengthening out of these storms over the next few hours. We've also got another storm, it looks like, in southeastern Kansas. This storm around the Joplin area is starting to strengthen pretty quickly, so I would not be surprised if we got some sort of warning on that storm here in the next few minutes. So that's what we're dealing with here as of 4:08 p.m. Central Daylight Time in the state of Missouri.
Right, possibility of that again. That storm we mentioned just moments ago, that it develops in a few moments again into something more, certainly could. So we're continuing to track those, sort of seeing what happens again with some of those rotations in the cycles to see if it becomes any more serious. So again, you want to keep a very close eye on these things so you know what to do in terms of the appropriate precautions to take. Of course, in the event of these areas affected by tornado warnings, you want to be prepared to take shelter in the lowest, most interior room of your home or building. So certainly safety comes first. Again, for the folks who have tuned in frequently to GWP Live for our severe weather coverage, again, they will know that from time to time. Even during these broadcasts, we have had to take shelter. Again, it's interrupted things, but again, that is what comes first above all else. So certainly that is not to be taken lightly. Will want to take a special note of those, especially if you are affected by some of these areas. Again, the areas on your screen now for the viewers, highlighted in sort of the red areas, the red boxes, those are tornado warnings. So again, keep a special watch of that, especially if you are in those areas. Again, a great place to stay tuned for that is right here. So just stick around on GWP Live for the severe weather coverage on that. We will provide the latest details on that. Now, if you're in an area where you're not sure exactly what's going on, we haven't covered your area in a little while, and you're beginning to wonder, beginning to grow concerned about what exactly is going on, what exactly you ought to do about it, you can call in to have those questions answered at 417-448-0819. Again, let us know what the issue is. Again, whatever may be going on in your area, whatever your concern may be, let us know at 417-448-0819. You can also put those questions in the live chat alongside this video. We can get to them there as well. So just a number of great opportunities you do not want to miss out on there. Jake, do we have any new developments on the storms or the warnings in effect at this point for our area?
Yes, we have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued along Interstate 44 just to the east of Joplin. So we want to go ahead and get you up to speed on that warning. So let's go ahead and go over there. So here it is. We're looking at some hail near the Sarcoxy area. Severe thunderstorm warning issued for Newton, Lawrence, and Jasper counties until 5 p.m. At 4:06 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Sarcoxy, moving in 9 miles southeast of Carthage, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Hazards include golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. There is a considerable threat tag with this storm. So anytime we're talking about golf ball size hail, we can be looking at a considerable threat. So again, locations impacted include Mount Vernon, Sarcoxy, Miller, Reeves, and Red Oak. This includes interstates 44 between mile markers 21 and 58. Again, there is a considerable threat tag with this severe thunderstorm warning that now includes Newton, Lawrence, and Jasper counties until 5 p.m. Golf ball size hail is going to be our main concern, but we're also going to be looking at the threat of 60-mile-per-hour winds for this area as well. And so you'll notice some of that hail starting to show up there on the radar just to the southwest of Sarcoxy. That's where the strongest of the storm is, continuing to move towards the northeast. So if you're traveling along Interstate 44 at this time and you're somewhere between, let's say, Joplin and Mount Vernon, that's where this storm is going to be located at. So again, some very large hail is going to be possible, upwards of golf ball size hail. When we talk about golf ball size hail, we're talking about damage to roofs as well as gutters, and then also, we've got significant damage to vehicles and siding can also be expected anytime we're looking at golf ball size hail, like we are dealing with out of this particular storm in the Sarcoxy area. Again, brand new severe thunderstorm warning issued for that area. That does include Sarcoxy, where the storm is closing in, but it also includes Mount Vernon along Interstate 44, as well as into the Miller area. So those areas are under a severe thunderstorm warning. And we just had a brand new tornado warning issued. It is an extension off of our previous tornado warning. So we still have a tornado warning for Audrain counties until 4:30 p.m. for a radar indicated threat. But now we have another tornado warning that extends into far eastern Missouri. It actually stretches out of our viewing area, but this goes for Audrain, Montgomery, Pike, and Rawls counties until 5 p.m. A lot of these counties have actually already been under a tornado warning earlier today. Less than 12 hours ago, we had a tornado warning in this area, and now we have another one. At 4:09 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 6 miles southwest of Ladona, 9 miles east of Mexico, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Locations impacted include Benton City, Rush Hill, Martinsburg, Middletown, Vandalia, New Hartford, as well as into Spencerburg, Ashland, and Frankfurt and Bowling Green. Those areas now under a new tornado warning until 5 p.m. And there's the location. So along US 54, including Vandalia, all the way over to Bowling Green, now under a tornado warning until 5 p.m. So again, this is now sort of stretching out of our viewing area, but it's that same storm that originated in the Columbia area just a little bit ago. So again, brand new tornado warning issued for that area. If we go to the velocities on this storm here, you'll notice that we do still have some rotations around the Ladona area, and that's going to continue to move towards Vandalia along US 54. So again, brand new tornado warning issued for that area until 5 p.m. So a little bit of rotation within that area.
Absolutely, yes, some major new developments on that. Of course, one of the warnings, again, in effect initially here more in our immediate viewing listening area has now extended beyond that. So, again, a sign it is sort of moving again, expanding a bit, becoming more severe possibility of that. Again, much the reason why we continue to track these things here on GWP Live, and you don't want to miss a single moment of it. You will have to stay tuned for that. Again, we often do this in the case of severe weather. Again, we go live for a number of different things. A couple days ago, we went live for breaking news. Of course, the event many of you likely heard at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Things didn't go quite as planned when shots were fired. Many of you have likely heard. Again, you may be missing out on that news weekly. Again, that weekly newscast that we usually put out on Monday nights. But again, if you're wanting to hear some on current events, some things that we've done recently, well, you can go over to the live coverage. Again, some of the past live streams that we've done, that is some recent coverage that we did on a major national event. Again, you want to check that out if you have not already. Jake, do we have any more developments on what exactly is going on here? A number of different warnings we can see in effect. Again, the areas in yellow, severe thunderstorm warnings. Here it looks now like Jake is circling a number of different rotations, potentially concerning things. What can you tell us about the things that you've circled on the screen here, Jake?
Yeah, so I've just highlighted a few areas that I would consider. Let's see here. If I've got anything, trying to get some additional information here. And okay, so yeah, so we have a couple areas of suspicious rotation, nothing tornadic, but still something that could turn into something tornadic. Let's see, it appears that we have a few different areas, one north of Columbia right here. We've got one northeast of Roachport, and then we've got another one near Jamestown. So just a few areas where there's a little bit of rotation in the atmosphere, not enough for us to see a tornado, but it's something that could turn into one within the next 15 or 20 minutes, similar to what we had with that other warning earlier.
Absolutely, quite possible. Again, with these suspicious rotations, they develop into something more. That again, they become a funnel cloud, which could become a tornado. So again, certainly that is why we keep an eye out for these things. Again, and sort of the key to detecting these in the early stages. Well, this is what those things, those more severe events, those tornadoes develop from. So that is why we're drawing attention to these. Again, the circled areas on your screen at this moment for all the viewers, again, highlighted with the blue circles on your screen, some potentially suspicious, potentially concerning rotations here that could develop into something more. So again, you'll want to stay tuned, watch, and pay attention very closely if you are in any of the areas affected by these. And again, if you've got any reports as to how exactly things are looking in the area, you can certainly call in with that information at 417 448 0819. Let us know how things are going. If you've got any questions, we'll answer those to the best of our abilities as well at 417 448 0819. You can also put those in the live chat right alongside this live stream. So, a number of things to keep your eye on over the next few moments. Again, to stay safe. So, a number of different warnings in effect here, a few different severe thunderstorm warnings. Those, of course, the areas highlighted with the yellow boxes on your screen, and the areas in red, again, the red boxes on your screen, those being the tornado warnings. Jake has had to step away for a moment, just checking on things in his area again. There is some storming, again, not quite as severe as it may be, at least not yet, though things could change at any moment. So he is keeping a very close eye on that, looking around at this moment, or would appear to be. Jake, how are things looking on your end?
Yeah, so all of a sudden we just had a very dark cloud that moved over the area. The wind started picking up and the rain really moved in very quickly. So we just had quite a new development here where I'm located at. We'll see if we can get anything new on the radar. We'll see if we can show you what I was visually seeing. And
Yeah, so a new dark cloud
okay.
developing over your area again. It looked somewhat concerning, it sounds like. So again, checking the radar now to see if we've got any indication of what that might be. Jake, what are we seeing here?
Yeah, so what I was just witnessing, or currently still witnessing, really, is this right here, a little bit of some straight line winds. And so as of right now, the winds have picked up just a little bit. Now we're seeing some winds gusting around 20 or 30 miles per hour. The trees are definitely blowing. We've got some blowing rain coming in sideways. And again, the clouds have lowered a little bit with this particular Boeing segment that is now starting to move in as we have some very strong winds moving into the area.
Absolutely, yes, some major information on that Boeing segment we're observing at the moment. Again, Jake now seeing some of that firsthand in the area there on the ground in Columbia in the Boone County area. So, again, continuing to follow that, seeing what it develops into. And now, Jake, what are the concerns exactly when we look at again, a suspicious. You mentioned again a very dark cloud sort of forming over your area. Again, we mentioned sort of the Boeing curve at large is sort of what we're observing. What are the main concerns associated with these things?
Usually straight line damaging winds. That's usually what we start in. Oh, wow. Yes, I'm going to try to get some video here of what we're dealing with here.
Absolutely, that would be great. So, in a few moments, chances are we will be able to see some video of exactly what Jake is seeing on his screen. We've described to you, he's described to us just moments ago, what he was seeing on his end, a very dark cloud forming over his area, and we should be able to see it here in just a few moments what exactly that looks like. Again, this cloud forming over his area, as he mentioned, again, an indication of sort of the broader pattern that we're looking at, sort of that Boeing curve. And the real threat that we're looking at in that case is straight line wind damage. So, again, appears to be becoming possibly a bit more severe by the sound of it. So, again, not abundantly clear where things will go with that. So, we will continue to follow that. Perhaps now a bit larger preview of what exactly is going on there. Again, I can't see a great deal. Again, if you point upwards, perhaps we would be able to see a bit more of the sky. It doesn't necessarily come through all that clearly. Perhaps a decent amount of cloud cover, though difficult to say exactly. Certainly, though, we've heard your description firsthand, and we know that we've observed from the radar, again, that Boeing curve. The risks that we're talking about coming our way in relation to this bow curve are straight line wind damage. So again, that can cause damage to a number of different structures, can be a real risk. And again, by the sound of it, things are maybe becoming a little bit more severe. Jake, what can you tell us about it at this point?
Yeah, so the wind, are you able to hear me now there?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, my friend.
Okay, let's test that one more time.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, there we go. Now I can hear. And so, yeah, so things did lighten up as far as the clouds go, but we are definitely getting in on some pretty heavy rainfall right now. The winds weren't nearly as strong as what I originally thought, but it really started pouring for just a minute, as you saw just a little bit ago. And now that's what we're looking at right now. So that's kind of a live, I guess, look of what we're dealing with here where my location is at.
Absolutely. So, yes, a live look at the weather going on in Jake's location there, Columbia, Missouri area. So, again, we're observing a bit of a cloud cover. Again, you mentioned moments ago, Jake, a dark cloud that formed above your area. That would appear to be what we're looking at the moment. Now, you mentioned moments ago that this is in connection with kind of the broader pattern, the bow curve. And again, the real risk that we're looking at in that case is straight line wind damage. Again, my understanding of that, Jake, can cause damage to a number of different structures. In the case of very severe straight line wind damage, is that essentially what we're looking at here? And Jake, and I cannot hear you at this moment. You appear to have your microphone still muted.
All right, so yeah, so what we are dealing with right now is again just some heavy rain. There was a little bit of wind earlier, but that's what we mean by a Boeing segment. It's just kind of a straight line wind, just being detected on radar. And so right now we don't necessarily have that in Columbia based on the fact that our winds are not very strong. In fact, things have gotten a little bit on the more peaceful side. So we'll go ahead and remove that guy from the meeting here
Yes, whoever
since
that may have
we don't
been.
really have anything new.
Right. So, some great information on that. We are continuing to track the storm cycles across the region, across our listening area here. A number of those warnings in effect. The areas now on your screen on the radar picture highlighted in yellow being, of course, the severe thunderstorm warnings. The areas in the red boxes being the tornado warning. So a number of those still in effect. We are continuing to track those. For the latest on that, you'll want to stay tuned to GWP Live. Jake, what new developments do we have on the severe weather cycles at this point?
Yeah, we've got a couple of new. Yeah, we've got a couple of new. Let's see, is our video still working there?
Yes, it is. And again, I can certainly see it
Okay.
from my end. I can see you clearly, can see the radar picture clearly. Everything appears to be working smoothly at this point. So thank you for asking.
All
Now,
right.
Jack, onto the developments on what exactly we're seeing at this point. How is it looking?
Yeah, so we got a new severe thunderstorm warning issued now for Mount Vernon, Missouri. So this is an extension off of the previous warning that we were talking about in Sarcoxy. This warning goes for Lawrence and Jasper in Newton counties until 5 p.m. At 4:16 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm was located near Sarcoxy, or 12 miles northwest of Monette, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Hazards include tennis ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is a radar indicated threat. We're looking at people and animals outdoors could be injured. Expect hail damage to roof sidings and windows, wind damage to roof sidings and trees. Locations impacted include Mount Vernon, Sarcoxy, Miller, as well as La Russell. This includes Interstate 44 between mile markers 26 and 58. Again, this is for tennis ball size hail. We are looking at a considerable threat tag with this particular warning that now includes Mount Vernon. And so, where is the worst of the hail? It's right in this pink area. That's where we're looking at the possibility along Interstate 44 of tennis ball size hail that will soon be moving into Mount Vernon. Then it will continue to move along Interstate 44 around the Halltown area as well. So, if you are under this warning, you will want to make sure to take shelter, especially move your vehicle in a covered space, because we are now looking at a warning that does include Mount Vernon for tennis ball size hail. So some pretty significant hail is going to be possible with that storm. Then we go just to the north of US 54, and we have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for Hickory and Benton counties. This goes until 5 p.m. At 4:14 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located 8 miles northwest of Wheatland, or 10 miles northwest of Hermitage, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Hazards include 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Location Locations impacted include Truman Lake, Cross Timbers, Quincy, Edwards, and Fristow. So those areas, I still cannot get over that name as a town. That goes until 5 p.m. Again, that is for Hickory and Benton County under a severe thunderstorm warning until 5 p.m. So we've got that one. We also have a new warning that was issued for the Versailles area. Let's go ahead and get a closer look at that. This includes Glenstead. This is just to the south of US 50. New severe thunderstorm warning issued for northern Morgan County until 4:45. At 4:25 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Stover or near Versailles, moving east at 55 miles per hour. Hazards include golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is a radar indicated threat. There is a considerable threat tag with this warning. So we've got a considerable threat tag for this warning in Versailles, and then we've also got a considerable threat tag with the storm in Mount Vernon. So Mount Vernon and Versailles looking at two separate storms that could be producing upwards of tennis ball size hail. That is going to be possible, even some quarter size hail possible just to the north of Cross Timbers, north of US 54.
Absolutely. So, a number of developments on that recently issued severe thunderstorm, a warning affecting a number of different areas, including no less the memorably named Fristo. Again, certainly in our coverage last night, something that caught our attention. So, again, presumably we are pronouncing the name of that city accurately. If we are not, please let us know. If you are from the area, again, presumably Fristo, perhaps we are pronouncing it again. Perhaps we just offended a lot of people. So if we did, again, if we're pronouncing the name of your town wrong, call in and let us know at 417-448-0819. It may happen increasingly again as some of these start to spread out, as we get some more towns, more cities affected. If we happen to mispronounce the name of your city, please call in and let us know again at 417-448-0819. Again, not much use of spelling it out in the chat because we would like to hear the pronunciation on that. It would be very much appreciated. Anything new on this, Jake?
Yeah, there's kind of an area, what I would call again, suspicious rotation just to the northeast of Columbia right now. So we need to watch that very closely. We've also got, it looks like maybe something down here, not nearly as impressive as that other one. Oh man. Okay, now we have another tornado warning that has just been issued, which means that all of the alarms are going to go off on my end again, even though it doesn't include Columbia. But we do want to get you the latest on that warning. So um,
Yeah, so
we may have a
presumably.
few unfortunate interruptions here that might be taking place. So let's get the latest on this. A new tornado warning was just issued for Boone, Callaway, and Montauk and Cole counties until 5:15 p.m. At 4:29 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 10 miles south of Tipton, moving east at 65 miles per hour. Hazards include a tornado and also golf ball size hail. The tornado will be near Tipton around 4:35, High Point and Clarksburg around 4:40, and then California, Missouri around 4:45. So let's go ahead and try to get a closer view of this tornado warning. Gets a little bit difficult in this area just because we're so far away from the radar site. There's not really a good, let's see, what's the best angle to look at this storm from? I
Absolutely.
think this is going to be,
Just
yeah, so we're just
checking
gonna
on
have
that.
to look at a few different angles here. The alert has arrived. And so the rotation is trying to find where we've got our area of rotation. I believe it's this area right here. Yes, I'm pretty sure this is it right here. I think we've identified it on the velocities, but again, we're having some difficulties with the radar.
Yes, again, some difficulties with the radar. You'll have to bear with us through these technical
Oh wait, no,
difficulties.
don't.
Again, that happens from time to time in these events. We thank you all for bearing with us through all of this. As we mentioned in just a few moments, possible that we will have some interruptions because we've just had a tornado warning issued for Jakes County, and not actually affecting Columbia, Missouri, but again, likely to trigger the alarms around campus. Again, we've seen over the course of the past few weeks or so, certainly last night we saw this, much of that going off. They seem to have a very robust alarm system in place. But again, it would appear that goes off again, perhaps even more often than it needs to. Certainly better safe than sorry, though again, that sort of sound may cause an interference on our coverage, Jake. Presumably, understanding this correct, you'll have to correct me on that if there are any details missed out on that. Jake?
Yeah, so not a whole lot right now. Still trying to find where the rotation. Okay, northeast of Versailles. So right here is the rotation. I'm trying to get it to show you where the warning is, but we're having some difficulties with that. There it is. Okay, finally.
All right.
There is the tornado warning. So there it is again. This includes California, Missouri. We've got Tipton. We've got Jefferson City, Wardsville, Holt Summit, New Bloomfield, and Ashland. Those are some of the different cities that are now under this tornado warning. That does include Boone, Callaway, and Montauk counties, excuse me, until 5:15. So it was located 10 miles south of Tipton. So here's Tipton. So right in this area is where it was located at based on our velocities. And again, we're so far away from the radar site that we're having some issues with seeing it on the velocity. But this is that area of rotation just to the northeast of Versailles, south of Tipton, continuing to move off towards the east at 65 miles per hour. But I think it's moving a little bit like that. So that seems to be the trajectory of this particular rotation. Let's see if that matches up with, well, yeah. So it's kind of moving that direction a little bit, kind of in this way. So it's moving mainly east, but it's also moving a little bit to the east or a little bit slightly to the north as well.
Absolutely, as major development on that appears to be moving slightly to the north as well. Folks at home, if you'll direct your attention to your screen, again circled on that screen on the radar picture just moments ago, you can still see that circle. Doesn't make
There
a
it
whole
is.
lot of sense. And now, again, back on the radar picture, again, that circle where it belongs. Again, just moving a bit in that direction, a bit northeast again of where it is as the circle again and the arrow emanating for it there in blue across your screen, located around the center, but again indicating from there where this pattern, where this particular rotation that we're watching is likely to go. So if you're in any of those surrounding areas, you'll want to keep an eye out for it, Jake.
Yes, yes. So you want to keep an eye out for that, as you just said. Okay, what is okay? We're still having some technical difficulties here.
Yeah, it's not abundantly clear exactly what is going on. I cannot see you at the moment, Jake. Cannot see you. It appears that perhaps you've ceased the screen sharing. We can now see the radar picture. Cannot see you, though. So, again, not the end of the world because we can still hear you. Not sure exactly what is causing that. Again, we thank you all for your patience. Now everything appears to be working smoothly. We can see you as well as the radar picture. Hopefully everything is working all right now on your end. But that, of course, as we mentioned just moments ago, the rotation indicated again within the circle on your screens, the arrow emanating for it, of course, indicating the direction in which it is likely to go, which the radar itself indicates that it is likely to go, again, sort of northeast. So we will have to continue to follow that. If you're in any of the surrounding areas, you will want to continue to follow that, again, for your own safety. So, again, if these things, again, develop as they move along their path further, it is possible that they form into something much more serious. So, again, keep your eyes peeled for that. Any new developments on that matter, Jake?
Yes, yeah. So we just wanted to go ahead and give you an update here on that warning for that area here. Let's go back here. So there's that rotation in Montauk County. Again, nothing too strong right now, but still enough to where we want to watch this here. Still Boone, Callaway, and Montauk counties. Tornado possible with that storm. Tornado warning in effect until 5:15. We are also being told that there may be some tennis ball size hail with this storm too. And oh yes, there it is right there on radar, just to the east of Highway 5, southeast of Tipton. Very strong hail core showing up there on that storm. And then again, the tornado, or the possible tornado at least, would be on the south side of that rotating or that hail. So again, we've got
Absolutely,
hail,
yes.
and then we've got a possible tornado on the southeast side. This tornado warning again does include the Missouri State Capitol there in Jefferson City. So please take shelter if you are under that area. Also, we just had a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that we want to get to that was issued in southwest Missouri. Here it is around the Sarcoxie area. New warning was issued for Newton, Lawrence, and Jasper counties until 5 p.m. 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail with that storm. There was also another warning that was issued to the east of there for Mount Vernon. This warning goes for lime-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So Mount Vernon, you're looking at the risk of potentially upwards of lime-size hail, considerable threat tag for that storm. That does include Lawrence County until 5 p.m. So a couple of different warnings around Mount Vernon, Sarcoxie, along Interstate 44, where we do have the risk for lime-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. We've also had a few storms that have developed around the Bolivar area. Nothing too significant right now, but we'll continue to watch that. A few storms just to the west of Fort Scott. Those will be moving into the Nevada area, so we'll make sure to keep an eye on those as well. And then we do have one storm here just to the north of US 54 along US 65. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that goes for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. This goes for Benton County. Uh, and Hickory County is no longer under this warning. So Benton County is under this warning till 5 o'clock. At 4:37, a severe thunderstorm was located 9 miles southeast of Warsaw, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail possible in Nobby, Edwards, and Bristow. So that remains in effect until 5 p.m. across the area. We also have another severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect across the Versailles area, although that will be expiring very soon. So that's really good, moving out of the area. But we do still have that tornado warning that remains in effect across California and Jefferson City there in Missouri. This continues for Boone, Callaway, and Montauk counties. We're looking at tennis ball size hail and a possible tornado with that storm. This remains in effect until 5:15. So we've got that. Then, just to the north of that, another severe thunderstorm warning. That would be this yellow box right here that includes Columbia. This goes for Boone, Callaway, and Montauk counties until 5 p.m. There are 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. At 4:37 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located 6 miles east of the Columbia Regional Airport, moving east at 60 miles per hour. The storm will be moving towards Fulton within the next couple of minutes, so take shelter there. This goes for Interstate 70 between mile markers 128 and 155. There is also a tornado possible tag with this storm. So we'll go to velocities on this storm just in Columbia area, and we'll see if we have anything showing up on the wind speed here, the wind speed velocities, and okay, a little bit of rotation near Ashland, Missouri. So we need to watch that. Tornado sirens have gone off. I just got a report that Ashland has tornado sirens going off. So take shelter there. Again, radar indicated rotation just to the southwest of Ashland. There's also a severe thunderstorm warning in the area that remains in effect as well. And so that continues until 5 p.m. Also, we have a severe thunderstorm warning across the Mexico area. There it is. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for Audrain, Rales, and Pike counties. That goes until 5 p.m. 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. There is a tornado possible tag with the storm, and we can see why, because we do have some rotation in and around Mexico. So right in here, a little bit of rotation. In fact, I would not be surprised if this was upgraded to a tornado warning. A suspicious area of rotation. In fact, if I was in Mexico or Rush Hill, I would be taking shelter like you would for a tornado, because we do have a little bit of rotation that's very similar to what we would be dealing with within a tornadic storm. So definitely watch out for that if you are in Mexico. Some very strong winds at the very least, but it looks like a little bit of rotation within that, maybe even a secondary rotation right here, just to the west of US 54. So a couple of different areas that we're tracking. We also still have that tornado warning in effect for the Bowling Green area. That goes for Pike County until 5 p.m. There's that rotation. That's a little bit outside of the viewing area, but we also just wanted to highlight that storm in Pike County until 5 p.m. So that's what we're looking at here. That's all of the latest warnings that we have in the state of Missouri.
Absolutely. Yes, some major developments on that. A number of different warnings still in effect for the area. Severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings across the area. And again, within many of these, a number of suspicious rotations that we are continuing to track for the folks who are just tuning in or who may not be aware exactly what we're referring to. Those suspicious rotations, of course, in terms of some of the wind patterns. Again, those can, if they become more severe, turn into funnel clouds and become tornadoes. That is the reason why we track these. Again, this is a major reason to sort of catch them before they come more severe, sort of know how to prepare. And speaking of being prepared, well, we have a video dedicated entirely to being prepared for severe weather. That's GWP, Severe Weather Preparedness. So if ever you've got questions, again, in the case of severe weather, you're in a different area for whatever reason, or we're just not live for whatever reason during severe weather, you can check out that GWP Severe Weather Preparedness video for, again, a comprehensive overview on what to do in a number of severe weather scenarios, how to respond, and what to do during those events. So a great resource to check out if you have not yet. You will want to do that. Find all of that and more from Great World Productions. Jake?
Yes, yeah. So make sure to check those videos out if you haven't already, because you will get some very great information that you might need going into the rest of this severe weather season. And so we want to go ahead and show you where that rotation is right now, just to the southwest of California. Again, we do still have a tornado warning on this storm. This includes Boone, Callaway, and Montauk counties. There's also going to be the risk for some tennis ball size hail. This storm, just kind of getting the trajectory on that storm, it will be moving towards Centertown, McGurk, and Russellville around 4:50 p.m. So that's going to be our timeline for that storm. So take shelter immediately if you are under that warning. And it appears that we just had a new, or that was the old warning. Let's
Yes,
go
no.
ahead and jump down to Springfield. We have a new warning that was issued in the Springfield area, including Springfield. So let's go ahead and look at that here. So, new severe thunderstorm warning for um, Christian, Lawrence, and Greene counties. This goes until 5:30 p.m. At 4:44 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Billings or near Republic, moving east at 50 miles per hour. Hazards include tennis ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is a radar indicated threat. Impacts, we're looking at people and animals outdoors will be injured, hail damage to roofs, siding, and windows and vehicles is going to be possible. Locations impacted under this new warning in Springfield include Springfield, Nexa, Ozark, Republic, Battlefield, Stratford, Clever, Sparta, Billings, Fremont Hills, and then Brookline and Galloway. Those cities and towns now under this warning till 5:30. This includes mile markers 40 or on Interstate 44, mile markers 59 through 90. So a large area under this new severe thunderstorm warning, including downtown Springfield, under a warning for tennis ball size hail. We are looking at a considerable threat tag with this particular severe thunderstorm warning.
That's right, a considerable threat tag attached to this particular severe thunderstorm warning. So, again, that makes it all the more risky in the case of this particular warning. So, you will want to keep a very close eye out for that. Now, in terms of this considerable threat tag attached to it, again, that an indication of some of these potentially unsafe conditions associated with these tornadoes. Again, potential for more damage is sort of what we're looking at when we see these considerable threat tags attached to these warnings, isn't it, Jake?
Yes, yeah, that's usually what the big concern is that we're looking at a higher level of damage because once we start getting into that golf ball to tennis ball size range, that can cause a considerable threat. And once we get to baseball size, luckily we haven't had any of that today, although we did have quite a few warnings yesterday for that. But once you get to baseball size hail, then we start dealing with a destructive tag. So again, you have your baseline, which is just your regular old severe thunderstorm warning, and then you have a considerable threat tag, and then you have a destructive tag. So there's three different categories, and that goes for both damaging winds and large hail. And again, anytime you get in that destructive category, that is when you get a wireless emergency alert from the government.
Absolutely. So, of course, in the event that it comes to that, you will receive that, as you mentioned, Jake, wireless emergency alert again from the government on those wireless mobile devices. So, certainly one of those many ways to stay up to date on severe weather, beyond, of course, staying tuned for all of our coverage here on GWP Live, all of our severe coverage featured just a couple of great resources on that. We will continue to follow that as these storms develop. Jake, double checking on that. How are things looking where you are, my friend?
Yeah, so Columbia is now starting to clear out just a little bit. We just the sunshine, excuse me, the sun is now out, so the rain is starting to slow down, and the sun, and we're starting to get some peaks of sunshine in here. So the storms do appear to be moving out of the Columbia area at right now, and so just kind of going over to the radar. So again, you'll notice that not a whole lot of activity. Really, this entire area across. In fact, let me just go ahead and highlight a few areas. This is not necessarily guaranteed, but I think we're done with severe weather in this area. I don't anticipate storms in Warrensburg or Sedalia. I think Kansas City, I think you're good. I'm not quite 100% certain they're in Nevada. I think we're pretty much done with the severe weather threat, but as you'll notice, we don't really have any watches across these areas. So Kansas City, Sedalia, and Warrensburg, we did have tornado and severe thunderstorm watches, but those have now been allowed to expire. We are still watching things for Nevada and down to Joplin because we are still under a severe thunderstorm watch. That remains in effect until 9 o'clock. And then we also have a tornado watch across central and eastern Missouri until 9 o'clock. And then we even have across far southeastern Missouri, going into several other of our states off to the east and south, we have a PDS tornado watch, particularly dangerous situation, until 11 o'clock. And kind of something that's a little bit ironic about that is we actually haven't had any rain across this area yet. So things have stayed dry, or things have stayed dry so far across the PDS watch zone.
Absolutely. So again, that PDS threat attached to that, again, a very small fraction of these tornadoes, as you mentioned just moments ago, that happen have this PDS. Again, this particularly dangerous situation tag attached to these warnings. So certainly that's an item of utmost concern on this. I believe you mentioned not exactly immediately in our listening area, but still, again, not far from us and a serious concern nonetheless, isn't it, Jake?
Yes, yeah, certainly. And so again, we'll continue to watch these storms across that area, but right now, not really a whole lot of action for the areas just to our southeast. Really, a lot of the main action has been right in here across central Missouri. I would say our highest threat is going to be right in this area over the next, I would say, 2 or 3 hours. Once we get past about 2 or 3 hours, I think we will be done with the severe weather here in our local viewing area.
Absolutely. So, sort of the area in the blue circle, this is our focus at this point again. So, that is our main concern. A number of different warnings still in effect. So, again, that our focus, but again, things it would appear beginning to settle down. You mentioned on your end, Jake, there in Columbia, things really appear to be calming down. So, chances are, and everything goes well, that would be the case. Again, sort of the pattern we're seeing at large here that things appear to be calming down. Again, sort of our central focus again for the viewers at home. You can address your attention to the screen again, sort of this area in this blue circle, our focus at this point. And Jake, as for this particular area, what's the main thing about it that we ought to know?
Yeah, so what we need to know is that this area is where we're going to start to see additional supercell thunderstorms like these right here are going to begin to develop. And a few of these will have the chance to rotate as they move further towards the east, as our tornado threat is actually going to be increasing as we go through the evening hours. As the tornado threat increases, though, our storms will become less numerous as they will start to push out of the region. So really, the further they get out of our region, the less the threat, or I guess, or yeah, the higher the threat will go higher as they start to move away from us.
Absolutely, yes, some great information on that. The threat going higher as they move away from us. So, again, becoming more serious, but making their way out of our area. So, again, much less of a concern for our immediate listening and uh, viewing area. Looking now, again, at some of the storm risks of the tornado risk here, sort of the pattern it is following, and a circle around the main area of concern here. Again, this area, if you'll direct your attention once more to your screen, another blue circle, this indicates on the map our main area of concern at this point. Jake?
Yeah, so pretty much anywhere in this area, we are in the clear. This is clear, I would say, all the way up through here, in case you're wondering, just elsewhere in the country. I would say we're clear across this area. So we're pretty much clear for here. Our main area of concern, at least here in the viewing area, is this blue circled area. And again, our highest risk is going to be these areas in orange and red. That's where we have the higher tornado risk. And then really across eastern Missouri, southern Illinois, we're going to see these thunderstorms probably, I would say, from about 6 p.m. until about 11 p.m. That's when we're going to be dealing with storms in this red area. And that's where we're likely going to have some of the most destructive storms that we've had all weekend, or really just really even all year probably across this blue area between 6 and 11 p.m. But again, the good news is the majority of this area, again, a couple of counties are sort of in that area, but for the most part, most of our counties are not in that higher moderate risk for severe weather.
Absolutely, yes. So some major developments on this. Of course, these circles on your screen now, again, indicating some of the safe areas. So, again, things appear to be calming down at this point for some of our immediate listening, viewing area. We will, again, continue to track this in the event of severe weather. Again, the central thing that we are focusing on here. But again, thank you for the updates on that, Jake. Anything else? What is our main focus? Things we ought to know at this point.
Yeah, so our main focus is still that tornado warning that includes the state capital. Let's see if we can get an update on that warning here. So again, we've had to bounce around just a little bit from different National Weather Services. Let's try the one in St. Louis, see what we get here on the velocities. Yeah, still some strong rotation right now around Centertown, continuing to move further towards the northeast. It looks like it will pass just north of Jefferson City, likely closer to the Holt Summit area. Let's see, we've got Asheville is kind of in this area, so it looks like it's going to stay just to the south of Asheville and just to the north of Jefferson City. So that appears to be where we're at right now. Again, this tornado warning remains in effect for Boone, Callaway, and Montauk counties until 5:15. The latest was at 4:36 p.m. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 7 miles northwest of High Point or 9 miles southwest of California, moving east at 65 miles per hour. So if you are under this tornado warning, you'll want to make sure to take shelter. Again, the area of rotation that we're most concerned about is moving towards just on the north side of Jefferson City. Will likely be there within the next 10 to 20 minutes across this area. This is GWP Live Severe Weather Coverage. We will return at the top of the hour.
We'll be back in a few moments. Again, this is GWP Live.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage here of our ongoing severe weather. This is GWP Live Severe Weather Coverage. It is now Monday evening at 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and we are still tracking again some of the ongoing severe thunderstorms across the state of Missouri. It is now the top of the hour, and we still have a tornado warning in effect across Boone, Callaway, and Montauk counties and Cole counties as well that remains in effect until 5:30. You'll notice here on the velocities, we have circled an area of rotation that has been indicated by the velocities. Let's go ahead and get the latest information that we know on this warning here. So let's see here. So again, or that goes until 5:15. So we've got Boone, Callaway, and Cole counties under a tornado warning until 5:15. At 4:59 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near St. Martin's, or 6 miles northwest of Jefferson City, moving east at 60 miles per hour. Hazards include tornado and then tennis ball size hail. This storm will be near Jefferson City and St. Martin's around 5 p.m., so it's definitely closing in on that area. It's also going to be moving into Holt Summit and New Bloomfield around 5:10 p.m. This is a radar indicated threat, but again, we're still watching an ongoing tornado warning across the Jefferson City, across the capital region, where we have had some area of rotation. Let's go ahead and update you here on the velocities and see what we're looking at. Wow, we have a very strong signature here. In fact, I would not be surprised if we had a tornado on the ground just outside of the capital. Very strong rotation. I would say at the very least, we likely have a funnel cloud with this storm.
Yes, quite possible that we have a funnel cloud associated with that storm indicated now with the circle on your screen. So it certainly could develop into a tornado, as you mentioned, Jake. Would not be terribly surprising if it would develop into one. So again, continuing to follow that as things develop. Anything else that you might add, Jake?
Yeah, not on that particular storm. But again, if you are just to the northwest of Jefferson City, this is US 63. We've got US 50 kind of sandwiched in between there is where we have this rotation. You will want to get off the highway because, again, we are going to be looking at a possible tornado moving through that area very soon. And again, the radar definitely supports a possible tornado just on the northwest end there of Jefferson City. So let's go ahead and we'll switch over to um, we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued for the Buffalo area along US 65. Let's get the latest on that warning. New severe thunderstorm warning for Dallas and Polk counties until 5:45 p.m. At 4:53 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Pleasant Hope, or 10 miles southwest of Buffalo, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Hazards include 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail. This is a radar indicated threat. Locations impacted include Bennett Springs State Park, Buffalo, Conway, Pleasant Hope, Halfway, Bennett Springs, Windyville, March, Pumpkin Center, Olive, Foose, Plaid, Long Lane, and Charity. Some very interesting town names here across that area. For half-dollar size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds, we now have that warning.
Absolutely, yes. Some very interesting city names on that front. Again, Pumpkin Center, Missouri. Can't say that I was aware of that city. I don't know about you, Jake.
Yeah, what about a Charity, Long Lane, Plaid, Foose, and Olive and March in Windyville?
Oh, I can't say that I'm familiar with many of those. No, no.
Or we've got Halfway. I guess there's a town that's halfway there. It might be
Yes,
halfway gone
there's
after the storm moves through,
yeah, maybe.
but
Hopefully not.
um,
Hopefully not. And that is not to
probably
offend.
not. We're not. That was kind of a bad
That's
joke,
right.
but not
Yes.
necessarily looking at that. But
Right. Certainly see what you're saying, though.
anyways, so we've got that warning on the northern end. On the southwestern end, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Christian, Stone, Berry, and Lawrence counties till 5:45. Considerable threat tag as we are looking at the possibility of golf ball size hail with that warning. And so, also, just as a reminder, we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for Greene and Christian counties, including Springfield, 60-mile-per-hour winds, half-dollar size hail. That goes until 5:30. And then, okay, we also just had a new warning pop up around Versailles. Here it is.
Okay.
Yeah, just south of Versailles, we've got a new or severe thunderstorm warning. This includes the Lake of the Ozarks area. Still not showing up here on that one, but it is showing up on this one. So we'll show you this one here. Severe thunderstorm warning issued for, let's see, we've got Miller and Morgan counties until 5:30. At 5 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located 7 miles south of Versailles, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. Hazards include 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and half-dollar size hail. Locations impacted include Lake of the Ozarks, Eldon, Versailles, Barnett, Grovis Mills, Rocky Mount, and Etterville and Aurora Springs. This is for, again, 60-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar size hail. That is a new warning that has been issued for Miller and Morgan counties until 5:30. This is just to the southwest of our area that is under that tornado warning in Jefferson City.
Absolutely. That new severe thunderstorm warning issued for Miller and Morgan counties with 60-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar sized hail. So, again, a couple of the things to expect around that area. Not far from the tornado warning affecting our state capital, Jefferson City. So, certainly will want to stay tuned for that. Again, the area of Miller and Morgan County now affected by a severe thunderstorm warning. Again, just southwest of the tornado warning affecting our state capital, Jefferson City, Missouri. So, again, many of the folks out there perhaps around the area, some may be residents, certainly many across the state will know that Jefferson City is our capital. Well, one such episode we actually shot in our state capital again in Jefferson City, Missouri. That being, of course, our Legislative Day special. So if you want to check that out, again, a particular fondness for our state capital, for the state of Missouri, and again, a number of different Missouri landmarks where we've shot episodes of the Great World Podcast for that matter. One of those being, of course, in our state capital, Jefferson City, our Legislative Day special episode. We also taped multiple episodes in the city of St. Louis, again, with the arch in the background, so a major landmark, just a few things across the state of Missouri. And again, with any luck, and it would appear, again, not to be affecting that, chances are, again, these things have been around for some time. Again, as it's possible that those things take damage, though certainly one can only hope that those landmarks are spared. Wouldn't appear to be a real threat to them at this point, however, but in any case, a great opportunity to check those out for more relating to the state of Missouri. Jake?
Yes, yes, you might want to do that. Just probably not right now because we do still have that tornado warning in effect for the area. Again, that does include Jefferson City, Boone, Callaway, and Cole County still under a tornado warning until 5:15. We're also looking at the risk of tennis ball size hail as well. And so again, if we kind of go back, we've got that area of rotation crossing US 63 on the north side of Jefferson City in southern Boone County right here. And then it's also going to be crossing over into Holt Summit and New Bloomfield within the Callaway County area. So Callaway County, soon that storm is going to be crossing into your neck of the woods there, as again, there's our area of rotation right along US 63. So if you are along this highway, you'll want to make sure to get off the highway and take shelter, particularly maybe go down south towards the Jefferson City area, because that is where things are a little bit quieter right now. In fact, let's go over to the reflectivity and we'll show you that. Again, our main hail threat right now is to the north side of Jefferson City. Luckily, Ashland, you're doing good. It's to the south of Ashland. It's to the west of New Bloomfield, but right there in the Jefferson City area, we are dry, but the biggest storm right there is to your north. But tornado warning does remain in effect for Jefferson City until 5:15, as we mentioned, with a radar indicated threat.
Absolutely, yes. Some major recent developments on that. A radar indicated threat in the area, so I want to take heed of that. Any of the folks in the area, a very serious thing. Looking back now, or just moments ago, of course, one storm sort of beyond our immediate listening, viewing area, but certainly worth noting. Affected with a PDS tag again. a particularly dangerous situation, sort of not something immediately in our area right now. Certainly, in terms of what is in our area right now, you can direct your attention for that to your screens. Again, inside the blue circle, that is our area of concern at this point. So again, that area is sort of continuing to narrow. Again, just looking at a few different things. Areas beyond that, Jake now marking with check marks also in blue, are areas that are safe, areas that are in the clear. So if you fall outside that circle, certainly any of the area where these check marks are, you are in the clear at this point. Again, beyond that, the areas within the circle, again, still decent sized area. We've got, again, a tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warnings inside that circle that we are still tracking and will continue through the remainder. Jake, is there anything else we ought to know about this?
Yeah, so I mean, it is possible we get a few more storms around Nevada, but I really don't think so. We had a few showers that developed, but they really quickly fizzled out. And so that really, to me, indicates that we're pretty much done with our severe threat. We do still have a severe thunderstorm watch in southwest Missouri until 9, including Joplin and Nevada. But right now, I just don't really see any indication of us seeing any severe weather. So I'm pretty confident that we're good to go in Nevada. Stockton Lake, you're looking pretty good. Joplin's looking good. Kansas City, Warrensburg, Sedalia looking good. Columbia, and you are very close to being in the clear. You've still got some heavy rain across the area, but Columbia, very close to being in the clear. The areas that are still not in the clear are Springfield, Rolla, Lebanon, and into Lake of the Ozarks and Jefferson City. So those are the areas within our viewing area that are still under that severe weather risk. Of course, we will continue our live streams here until that severe weather moves out of that blue circle. But if I had to guess, I think I'm going to say I would be very surprised if we still had any activity in this blue circle at 7 p.m. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is my prediction. By 7 p.m., we will be all clear in this blue area. That's my prediction.
Absolutely. So you will have to stay tuned to find out exactly what happens. Again, see exactly how things shake out on that front. But things, Jake, as you mentioned, appear to really be settling down across our immediate listening area. Our immediate listening area, that is. So again, likely that things will have settled down very substantially by 7 o'clock p.m. in terms of those serious threats. Now, in terms of those serious threats, again, they still do exist. Again, they appear to be beginning to peter out at this point, but they are still there, Jake. What do we know about them at this point beyond that?
Yeah, so we just had some new information come into us on the tornado warning. The tornado warning we now have learned has weakened below tornadic limits. So we're now no longer dealing with the tornado threat. There's still a little bit of rotation in there, so we'll have to continue to watch this storm as it moves towards New Bloomfield. But now that tornado warning will soon be expiring. The National Weather Service has now stated that the warning is going to expire. So that is the positive news. However, we are still looking at the threat across this new area. They did extend the warning. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning that does include Callaway County in central Missouri. This goes until 6 p.m., and they did label it with a tornado possible tag. So the tornado threat has gone down, but it's still not zero within this particular storm.
Absolutely, yes, major developments on that. Of course, great to hear on the tornado warning affecting the Jefferson City area. So, for the folks at home who have not yet heard, that tornado warning affecting the Jefferson City area has now been reduced in terms of threat. Again, not a tornado threat associated with that at this point. It is set to expire here before long. The National Weather Service has now come out and said that they're going to allow that warning to expire. So things really calming down at that front. Though, again, not far from that, we have, of course, highlighted in the yellow, even a bit of overlap here, but highlighted in the yellow, this severe thunderstorm warning affecting Callaway County, Jake, as you mentioned, in central Missouri. And that is still, again, a substantial, considerable thing worth keeping track of here. What else do we know about sort of this severe thunderstorm warning as things begin to settle down with that tornado warning. Jake?
Yeah, so the new severe thunderstorm warning that's an extension off of the tornado warning. It goes for Callaway County until 6 p.m. The main concern is going to be for ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So still can see some significant damage with that hail. And so we'll have to watch this very closely. We've got, let's see again, a tornado possible tag, but then we've got hail up to the size of ping pong balls and then 60-mile-per-hour winds there in central Callaway County. So this hailstorm is moving through New Bloomfield right now. It's soon going to be passing likely just to the south of Fulton. Fulton, you may see some of the worst of this hail. So we're going to be tracking that very closely across the Callaway County area. We've also had another warning that was issued just to the northeast of this area. So we're watching that. We've got 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail with that. This is actually out of our viewing area. So that is something else to mention. We've got a lot of activity on the north side of St. Louis. So if you're in any of those areas, you'll want to make sure to keep an eye on that, although we aren't going to necessarily talk about these because these over here are not in our viewing area. So this is not part of our viewing area, so we're not necessarily going to focus on that area as much as we will the rest of our region. So,
Absolutely. So this area marked with
okay.
a blue X on your screens now, not an area of immediate concern, and some new developments that would appear on your end. What do you have for us, Jake?
Yes, a new severe thunderstorm warning was issued for the southern end of Jefferson City. So we just had, so Jefferson City just, and okay, let's see. We'll try to get something a little bit more updated than that. This tornado warning has expired. It just still hasn't there it is. So there it is. The tornado warning is gone, but now we have a couple of new severe thunderstorm warnings around the Jefferson City area that we want to look at. First, we want to show you this one right here for Jefferson City. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for Callaway and Osage County until 6:15. At 5:14 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located 8 miles southeast of High Point or 17 miles south of California, moving east at 60 miles per hour. We are looking at 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and quarter-size hail with this storm here. So radar indicated threat. We're looking at locations impacted include Hickory Hill, Russville, Brazito, St. Thomas, Wardsville, Jefferson City. We've also got Osage Bend and Osage City, Loose Creek, and Frankenstein under this severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15. So certainly a scary situation with that new warning uh, just because of the location alone.
Yeah, it's a very scary situation. Some might say a monstrous situation across the region. Can't say that I was aware of the city of Frankenstein, Missouri, but apparently one of the many cities affected by this newly issued severe thunderstorm warning. I certainly, Jake, was not aware of that city. If you'd like to call in and tell us more about your city, especially if it's Frankenstein, Missouri, would love to hear the story behind that. You can call in and tell us at 417-448-0819. Tell us about Frankenstein at 417-448-0819. You can also put that in the live chat alongside this stream. Jake?
Yes, yeah, that would certainly be interesting to hear more about. So if you have any information on that, go ahead and do that. We also have another warning that was just issued for, or this is actually, we've been tracking this one, so it's still in effect for Miller and Morgan counties till 5:30, 60-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar size hail with this storm. This is around the Eldon area. So if you're in Eldon along US 54, likely going to be looking at some pretty large hail. Also, this warning just expired. This warning in Versailles is gone. So Gravos Mills, Versailles, Barnett, those areas, you are now in the clear. Eldon, you're next in line. We've also got St. Elizabeth and St. Thomas looking at a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings with those storms in that area. And then we've also got a few new storms around the Springfield area. So let's get to those here. We're going to start from the top right and we're going to make our way down to the bottom left. So we're going to start with this one right here in Lebanon. Severe thunderstorm warning for Dallas and Laclede counties in the Lebanon area until 6:15 p.m. At 5:13 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located 7 miles southeast of Buffalo, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Hazards include ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Locations impacted include Lebanon, Bennett Springs State Park, Phillipsburg, Twin Bridges, and Sleeper. Do not sleep on these storms, as ping pong ball size hail is going to be possible. This includes Interstates 44 between mile markers 112 and 144. Then we go just to the southwest of that, and we have another warning that includes the Buffalo area. This goes for Dallas and Polk counties until 5:45. Severe thunderstorm was located 7 miles southeast of Buffalo back at 5:08, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Hazards include 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and half-dollar size hail. So, and then some of the locations impacted include Buffalo, Pleasant, Pleasant Hope, Halfway, Olive, Windyville. What is this place in Missouri? Windyville, Foose, March, Long Lane, and Charity.
Yeah, so a number of different cities affected by that. And moments ago, when we mentioned, of course, don't sleep on this warning, they're affecting Sleeper, Missouri. Certainly, that would be a rude awakening to be doing that, to be, again, sleeping on that, woken by ping pong ball size hail. So you want to get away from that. Don't want that to happen in the slightest, Jake. So now highlighting the area with the blue X. What can you tell us about that, my friend?
This was a warning that just expired, but it hasn't quite disappeared on the radar. So that's a new update for us. And then let's see. I also want to show you these two warnings right here. This one's on the southern portion of Springfield. This goes for Christian and Greene counties until 5:30. At 5:17 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Springfield, moving east at 45 miles per hour. And so there's that warning that just disappeared. But this is the one that we're talking about specifically on the southeast side of Springfield. This goes for 70-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar size hail. Because of those strong winds, there is a considerable threat tag with this warning. This includes Springfield, Ozark, Rogersville, Stratford, Fremont Hills, Turners, and Galloway. Under that warning until 5:30, again, we're looking at the possibility of 70-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar size hail with this particular cell on the southeastern side of Springfield. And then now we just had a new warning issued. Hasn't popped up yet, but it now goes to the east of Springfield. This goes for Webster, Wright, Douglas, Christian, and Greene counties until 6:15. 70-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar size hail. This includes Rogersville, Seymour, Mansfield, Fordland, Norwood, Hartsville, Duquesne, Diggins, Maines, Odin, and Dogwood. That there's also a considerable threat tag with that severe thunderstorm warning. And then, if that wasn't enough, we've got two additional warnings. One along Highway 60 south of Interstate 44 for Christian. We've got Stone, Berry, Lawrence counties in Missouri. Golf ball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Considerable threat tag with that storm. And then just to the west of Cassville in McDonald and Berry counties, we have a severe thunderstorm warning until 6 p.m. for ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So that is what we're looking at here. A few new severe thunderstorm warnings in the Springfield area within our southwestern counties.
Absolutely, yes, some major new developments on that. A number of different counties, a number of different warnings affecting those counties, mainly severe thunderstorm warnings that we are talking about here. So, continuing to follow those along the course of the night. You will have to stay tuned for that here on GWP Live. Our area of concern now narrowing down a little bit, Jake, illustrating a bit more on the map. If you'll direct your attention now to the satellite picture. So, again, highlighting now an area clear, the highlighted area that is within the blue circle on your screens is now clear, is now safe. So, again, beyond that, just a couple of things that we are still watching for, a couple of things we are still tracking, but that area is narrowing quickly. So, very fortunate on that front for the folks in those areas. Certainly, you will have to stay tuned for the latest on that as we ride out these storms. Jake?
Yeah, so I went ahead and circled a couple different areas. If you're in the blue circle, so that's Nevada, Stockton Lake, Sedalia, Warrensburg, Kansas City, Joplin, part of the western half of Lake of the Ozarks, Columbia, you are in the clear. So anywhere in the blue area, we are now in the clear. We are done with severe storms for the rest of this evening, and also for most of these areas, the rest of the week. And so anywhere in the blue, we are clear for tonight's severe weather risk. If you are in the red area, you are still under that risk for severe weather. If you are not circled, you are not in our viewing area.
Absolutely, yes. So, some substantial information on that front, some important information at that. So, the area, of course, in the red circle refers to our immediate viewing and listening area. That is still an item of concern. The areas within our viewing and listening area that are not at this point, of course, in the blue circle that says clear at this point, indicating that area is now clear, is now safe, not much concern beyond that. That, Jake, as you specified moments ago, is not to say that there are not areas of concern beyond our red circle. We're not saying that at all. There are still areas of concern. But again, our focus is within the red circle. That is our immediate listening and viewing area. If, however, as we mentioned before, you do happen to fall outside of our immediate viewing and listening area, we are still willing to take questions whenever we happen to be live at 417 448 0819 for all of those burning questions at 417 448 0819. Jake?
Yeah, so again, if you have any questions about the ongoing storms that we're going to experience this evening, then you can go ahead and you can send those in and we will answer them. We'll update you on anything that you need to know for your area. Well, and with that, we will now move into a brief intermission. We will return at the bottom of the hour at 5:30 p.m.
You'll have to stay tuned for that. This is GWP Live.
Welcome back into our ongoing live severe weather coverage here on GWP. So again, this is GWP live severe weather coverage. It is Monday evening. It is now just past 5:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and we are still tracking some of the ongoing severe storms across our viewing area. You'll notice that we have still on the radar a couple of different circles that are on the map. We'll go ahead and we'll update those just a little bit. The area in blue that we have circled is considered an area where we are done with the severe thunderstorms. So if you're anywhere in the blue, you're good to go. You don't have any risk as we go through the rest of this evening. Your severe weather threat is over. But if you are still in the red area, then that means that you are not only in our viewing area, but you are still under that severe weather risk. If you are not in either of those circles, that means that you are in an area that we don't cover here on GWP. And once this live stream is over, well, or we will end the live stream once the severe storms move out of the red area. So that's basically what we're showing you here on this different or on this map here. So let's go ahead and get the latest on a few of our storms here. So again, these are south of the region, but we do still have a severe thunderstorm just to the east of Springfield. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Webster, Wright, Dallas, Christian, and Greene counties till 6:15 p.m. 70-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar size hail is going to be possible. We've got a considerable threat tag with that severe thunderstorm warning. Going further to the north, still along Interstate 44 around Lebanon, we've got a couple of different warnings. One across the Buffalo area. This goes for Dallas and Polk counties. Severe thunderstorm warning until 5:45. 60-mile-per-hour winds, half-dollar size hail will be possible with that. And then we have a new warning for Dallas and Laclede counties until 6:15 for ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So that's what we're looking at out of those two warnings there across the Lebanon area, as well as into Buffalo, Missouri, along and west of Interstate 44. Then we've got a few other storms to the south of Jefferson City. We've got this warning right here. This one recently expired. In fact, I bet we can get that one. Yeah, that one disappeared here, but we do still have two severe thunderstorm warnings just to the south of the Jefferson City area. We've got this one to the west that goes until 6:15. We are now looking at the possibility of tennis ball size hail for northern Miller County. Severe thunderstorm warning in Miller County until 6:15 p.m. Again, tennis ball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds are going to be possible with that. We've got Lake Ozark, St. Elizabeth, Eugene, and Etterville and Mary's Home under that new severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15 p.m. So again, 6:15 p.m. for northern Miller County, tennis ball size hail is going to be possible. And then now just to the east of that, south of Jefferson City, we now have had an extension on that severe thunderstorm warning. This goes for Cole and Osage counties until 6:15. This was recently, so this is a new warning that we have. At 5:27 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near St. Thomas, or 16 miles south of Jefferson City, moving east at 60 miles per hour. Tennis ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds are going to be possible. There is a considerable threat tag and a tornado possible tag with this warning. So let's go ahead. And because we have those different tags, let's go ahead and show you the radar picture here. We'll get an idea of what we're dealing with out of this storm here. First, going to the velocities, a little bit of rotation just to the south of Wardsville, northeast of St. Thomas. So that's where we could be looking at possibly some rotation. And that's part of the reason why there is a tornado possible tag with this storm just to the south of the Missouri capital there in Jefferson City.
Absolutely. So the storm just south of the Missouri capital in Jefferson City. This the area on your screens now. If you'll direct your attention to them for the viewers at home, this severe thunderstorm warning across the area. So again, fairly decent size, affecting a few different cities there. But that's the latest we know on it at this point, Jake.
Yes, that's the latest that we have on that warning. Again, a little bit of rotation on the south side of Jefferson City. So we're going to have to watch to see if that gets stronger, because if it does, then we could be looking at possibly a tornado in that storm. But again, a tornado possible tag. The biggest threat is going to be some of that hail. You'll notice as we go really close in here, we've got St. Thomas kind of in that white purplish color moving into Osage Beach. That's where we could be looking at some hail across that area. So it's very large hail. As we mentioned, there is tennis ball size hail possible. So we're looking at possibly 2.5 inches in diameter. And that is why we have that considerable threat tag with this particular severe thunderstorm warning to the south of Jefferson City.
Absolutely. So some major new developments on that. Continuing to follow that here on GWP Live. You all want to stay tuned for all the latest on that point. But again, if we take a step back, if we zoom out a bit more broadly speaking, Jake, it would still appear that, again, things are calming down at large across the region, aren't they?
Yes, overall, a lot of the storms are starting to move further towards south and east. This is really our last warning that has a major threat with it when it comes to that considerable threat tag.
Absolutely, yes. Great to know on that. So again, many of those areas previously affected again throughout the night. We've been sort of updating that. Again, areas that are in the clear, and much of those in our original viewing and listening area are now in the clear, as we've shown just moments ago, as we ordinarily mark with blue again on the screen. We mark those on the map, on the radar picture with blue, the areas in the clear, and we've been doing in red the areas that are still a matter of concern, and that area of concern is still narrowing more and more. So we are getting ready to update that again. Jake, drawing that out, we will have here in just a few moments now, illustrating the area in the clear, the area on this blue that you see
Let's
developing
try that
on
again.
your screen. Yes, trying again on that, trying to draw a circle. So certainly we might be here a little while longer, but we will certainly see how things shake out. So the area in the blue circle on your screen now is the area in the clear. So if you are in any of the cities, any of the towns in that blue circle, you're in the clear. Now this area in the red, again, considerably smaller, much smaller from what it was just earlier today. Those are the areas of concern. So a couple of little ones, but again, much smaller than what it was earlier today. Jake?
Yes, and also I just wanted to go ahead and give a quick update just based on the timeline of our storms. I believe we will be ending tonight's live stream at the top of the hour at around 6 p.m. That is unless anything major comes up before then. So most likely ending at around 6 p.m., about 22 minutes from now. I really just don't see a reason to continue beyond about another 20 minutes.
Great to know, I figured, Jake. So things appearing to be winding down for the night in terms of this severe weather. So again, if you have any last minute questions on that, the time is very limited. So again, don't waste any more time. You want to call in and have those questions answered if you still have them at 417-448-0819. Again, that number is 417-448-0819. Again, we'll be wrapped up, chances are, by the top of the hour. Again, coming up at 6 o'clock. So you want to call in if you've got any questions before then. Jake?
Yes. And so, again, the other thing that I want to say is I know that we've kind of been going in and out with these different live streams. I can say that this will also be our final live stream as well. So, once we end the current video that you're watching right now, that will be our last live stream for today's severe weather coverage. We don't have a severe weather threat during the overnight hours.
Right. Again, no severe weather threat, no foreseeable issues during the overnight hours in terms of severe weather in our primary listening and viewing areas. So, barring a disaster, Jake, as you mentioned, this will be the last severe weather broadcast of tonight. We thank you all again for tuning in tonight. Again, who tuned in last night, the night before, for our breaking news coverage. So, a number of different great offerings from GWP that you don't want to miss out on. And if you're a bit in the dark, if you didn't initially know about live streams or things like this, the best way to stay up to date on these events is to subscribe to the Great World Productions YouTube channel and ring that bell to receive notifications for new releases anytime we go live. So, do not want to miss out on that for future events, and we will continue to do this again in the future in the event that severe weather crops back up. So a number of areas with red check marks, Jake. Presumably the areas in red check marks are the warnings that we're still watching again. Is that the case?
Yeah, so if you are in an area that we're still watching a warning for, then you're in a red check mark. And so basically I kind of stopped doing the circles because the circles weren't really necessary anymore. Now we're just looking at whatever area is being affected right now is the area that we're still watching for. So if you're not being affected by storms right now, that means that you're pretty much in the clear in our viewing area.
Absolutely. So yes, a very simple sort of legend there on the screen. All of the areas, sort of the yellow boxes, moments ago, which had the red check marks, are really the only areas in our immediate listening and viewing area of concern in terms of tonight's severe weather. So things really winding down at this point, though still, again, three different severe thunderstorm warnings across the area. We are continuing to watch those for any possible developments. Again, kind of a circled area of concern. Now, again, just returning to the circles momentarily. Jake, is this an update or just sort of a different way of illustrating the same thing?
Yeah, just kind of going a little bit closer to the areas that we're concerned about here. We just had a new warning that was issued, so we want to get to that new warning here. So maybe not quite winding down as quickly as what I had originally thought here. New warning issued on this storm. This is southeast of Lake of the Ozarks. That's where we're at on this new warning. This new warning includes Miller, Laclede, Pulaski, in Camden counties until 6:15. At 5:36 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located 8 miles west of Richland or 13 miles southeast of Camdenton, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Hazards include golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So we have the source on this is emergency management has reported this. Locations impacted include Waynesville, St. Robert, Richland, Croker, Iberia, and then Ozark Springs and Wet Glaze. So this also includes Interstate 44 between mile markers 141 and 144, as well as 160. There is a considerable threat and an observed tag with this severe thunderstorm warning that now includes Waynesville to the northeast of Lebanon.
Absolutely. So maybe not quite as certain as we once were that things were settling down because we've just had a new severe thunderstorm warning issued. So again, continuing to track that would appear somewhat severe based on some of the tags attached to it. A couple of those at that. So again, continuing to watch for that. Any major developments on it throughout the night, we continue to cover that. And thank you all for listening and viewing all the rest. Those, of course, the areas we're referring to, the areas really of concern are the ones in the yellow boxes on the radar on your screens. Jake?
Yes, yeah. So we've still got that. And then we just had a new warning issued just a little bit ago for Springfield, Missouri. This goes for Christian and Greene counties until 6:30. At 5:30 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Clever or 8 miles south of, or Clever, probably Cleaver, 8 miles south of Republic, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Locations or hazards include 60-mile-per-hour winds, half-dollar size hail. This is for Springfield, Nixa, Ozark, Republic, Battlefield, Stratford, again, Cleaver, Billings, Highlandville, Fremont Hills, Brookline, Glidewell, Turners, and Galloway. So those areas now under a warning until 6:30 p.m. There is also another warning just to the east for this cell along US 60 for 60-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar size hail. That includes Webster and Wright counties for Rogersville, Seymour, Mansfield, Fordland, Norwood, Hartsville, and Diggins. So again, those are some of the new areas that are being affected by some of our storms around the Springfield area.
That's right. Some major developments on that. So, naturally, and continuing to follow that, new severe thunderstorm warning recently issued for the Springfield area. So, again, any of the folks in those areas will have to take note of that. Again, take the appropriate precautions. Again, some of those looking more severe than others. Anything else we ought to know about them, Jake?
Yeah, so we have a new update here on that warning for Osage County. So severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for Osage County until 6:15 p.m. This also included Cole County, but the warning in Cole County has now expired. So Cole County under this warning, main hazards are going to be tennis ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. There is also a considerable threat tag for that hail damage of tennis ball size. And then we're also looking at a tornado possible tag with this storm. And so we'll go over to velocity and we'll see if we have any rotation as indicated by that tornado possible tag. The only area that I really see appears to be kind of around the Osage River, just to the southwest of Loose Creek. So a little bit of broad rotation, nothing too significant. I definitely don't think we have enough to have a tornado right now, but still something that we will continue to watch, as that warning does have a tornado possible tag just to the southeast of Jefferson City, and that warning remains in effect until 6:15.
Absolutely, that a severe thunderstorm warning just southeast of Jefferson City with a tornado possible tag attached. So again, continuing to follow that. Some of these severe thunderstorm warnings, or what start out as severe thunderstorm warnings, later have these tornado possible tags attached to them. And if you're not familiar, we do flesh out some of the distinctions on that in our GWP severe weather preparedness video. So that is a comprehensive overview on what to do in a number of different severe weather events, again, in order to be prepared for them and what to do during the events. So if you have not, you will want to check out that video, all that and more from Great World Productions. So again, we often see from time to time these severe thunderstorm warnings. We've seen a few of them recently that have tornado possible tags attached to them. And again, as we mentioned in the past, this tornado possible tag, it's not more severe per se, not more severe per se, that is, than a tornado a warning. It's that it started as a severe thunderstorm warning and again has the possibility again of developing into a tornado, similar to a tornado warning. But again, that sort of being the difference begins from an existing cycle. Again, later has that tornado possible tag attached into it, where it has the possibility of developing further. So beyond that, of course, the tornado watches is that is when it becomes an imminent threat. In recent times, we also have seen tornadoes on the ground. So generally, that is the case when we have tornado watches in effect. We now have an area marked with a red X, presumably an area of concern. What can you tell us about that, Jake?
That's actually a good area. That warning has now expired. It just hasn't disappeared on there on the radar. So that warning is gone. But while we did have that warning disappear, we had a new warning just issued to the north of Lebanon. This is to the southeast of Lake of the Ozarks. This now goes for Miller, Laclede, Pulaski, and Camden counties. A little bit of an update. We now had emergency management reported golf ball size hail with this storm. So golf ball size hail has been reported within this warning here. And so we're also looking at the risk of 60-mile-per-hour winds. At 5:36 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located 8 miles west of Richland, or 13 miles southeast of Camdenton, moving east at 40 miles per hour. So golf ball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Again, there's been an observed and a considerable threat tag with that particular storm.
Absolutely. So, a number of different developments on that particular new storm, this new severe thunderstorm warning in effect. So, certainly continuing to follow the situation there in terms of the cities and towns affected by these warnings. You will want to take note of this. Again, your best bet is to stay tuned right here to GWP Live for the latest on that. Now, again, for a moment there, it appeared that things were winding down, though since then we've had some new warnings in the area issued. Jake, now updating that, the circle for the area of concern, again, still somewhat minimal, not as large as what it was at one point, though we have had a couple of new warnings issued. Anything else on that, Jake?
Yeah, not really a whole lot. Again, the latest hail report that we had was from that warning in Miller County where we had golf ball size hail that was observed by emergency management. So that appears to be the latest information that we have with that. And that would be this storm right in here northeast of Lebanon. This one, we have observed golf ball size hail with that storm there on the northern side there. And so we're also, the other big hail threat is this one to the southeast of Jefferson City. Osage County still under a severe thunderstorm warning till 6:15. Our main concern with this storm right here is going to be tennis ball size hail. So that has the biggest hail out of any of these storms that we're looking at.
That's right. So observed hail, that is, northeast of Lebanon County. Certainly want to take note of that. Again, not sure exactly. You may have said the size of that hail, depending on what sort of damage it is capable of causing. Jake, what size exactly was the hail? Do we know in that area what it was?
Yeah, so the observed one northeast of Lebanon, that was a golf ball size that was observed, but the threat for this one is for tennis ball size on the southeastern side of Jefferson City.
Absolutely. So, potential for even larger hail for that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the Jefferson City area. Possibility of tennis ball size hail coming our way. That, of course, after the initial, again, just a bit southwest of that, one of these other severe thunderstorm warnings in effect where hail was actually sighted. That was golf ball sized hail, but again, potential in the Jefferson City area, again, for the severe thunderstorm warning now in effect there. Tennis ball sized hail. So even larger. We've had the common theme of hail again across tonight, across last night. A ton of hail. We've even seen some of that in our local area, some hail damage to a number of vehicles and whatnot. We've seen that again. A decent sized hail at that. We saw it very large last night. We saw a lot of baseball sized hail, a fair amount of it, certainly more than usual, up to apple sized hail even. And that can cause some real damage to any vehicles that are parked outside at the time. That can take some real damage from that. Some dents, even of those big solid hailstones hitting the windshields could even shatter the windshields. We even saw some of that in our local area here in Nevada, Missouri just last night. So certainly if it's a safe spot to do so, you'll want to park those cars inside a garage, under a carport, something like that, under an awning to protect it from the hail damage. That would be your best bet if that is something that you're able to do. Now, beyond that, again, with especially large hail, and you'll have to provide more specific insight on this for tennis ball sized hail. But again, as you mentioned last night, much of this hail, again, when it gets very large, can even cause substantial damage to the roofs of the home or building where you might be. They can even come through the roofs and cause very costly damage. So that's why in many of these storms, we say again, it is advised to take shelter in the lowest, most interior room of your home or building to avoid that because again it's one thing to have that damage to your roof or something else. It is quite another to be up there again on the upper level of your house with these huge hailstones again coming through your roof. That could even cause injury, and we certainly don't want that. Again, while this damage may be very unfortunate, again very costly for your house. Again, beyond that, again, what is irreplaceable is, of course, human life. So certainly that comes first. Your safety comes first in all of this. So we certainly do, if it is advised in many of these severe weather situations, that you do take shelter. Jake?
Yeah, certainly so. And again, if you can move your vehicles under some sort of awning of some kind, or even just some sort of cover, carport, garage, all of that would certainly be the right actions to do as well. And so that, of course, is something that you'll want to do if you're under any of these warnings. We will now go ahead and move into a brief intermission. We will return a few minutes before the top of the hour.
Absolutely. We'll have to stay tuned
This
for
is
that.
GWP Live. And we are back live. This is GWP Live's ongoing severe weather coverage. It is Monday evening, April 27th, 2026. We are nearing the top of the hour at 6 p.m., which of course is the time in which we're going to bring this live stream to a close, or at least around that time, maybe a few minutes afterwards. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to update you on some of the storms that are rolling through. I will say that for the most part, these storms are winding down across our viewing area. And so that is definitely very good news. We'll start with these storms around Springfield. We do still have a severe thunderstorm warning in place across the Springfield area. This goes for Christian and Greene counties until 6:30 p.m. 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail. Again, that threat is starting to move out of the Springfield area, but we'll still watch that area for the next 30 minutes. Then we've still got 3 severe thunderstorm warnings along Interstate 44 around Lebanon and Waynesville. We've got this warning in Lebanon until 6:15 for Laclede counties, 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail. This one to the east of there, including Waynesville. This one goes for Laclede and Pulaski counties till 6:30. Considerable threat tag as we are going to be looking at 60-mile-per-hour winds and golf ball size hail with that storm. And then one to the north that includes Pulaski, Laclede, and southern Camden counties, ping pong ball size hail. There is an observed tag. So we did have some observed ping pong ball size hail out of that storm. That warning goes until 6:15. Then we have a severe thunderstorm warning just to the east of Jefferson City that remains for Osage County, tennis ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. That goes until 6:15. And then we've even got a downstream warning for that same storm that's going to continue moving further towards the east. We also do still have flash flood warnings in effect across Colombia as well as into Centralia, Mexico. Some very heavy rainfall could lead to some flooding on some of those roadways. So you'll want to make sure to turn around and don't drown if you are going to be traveling there across any of the areas that we've highlighted. Here's our different weather alerts that we have across the country. So again, tornado watches remaining in effect. Severe weather storms will move further to our east out of our viewing area, but we do still have a pretty decent tornado risk as we do have that PDS tornado watch until 11 o'clock across parts of these central plains here getting into the east here. So again, further east of here, rather, we've got that tornado watch remaining in place. So ongoing severe threat will continue across Illinois, Indiana, far eastern Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky and Indiana as we go through this evening. That's going to be the main threat as we go over the next couple of couple of hours through the evening. Or through the evening hours, rather, whatever I'm trying to say. You all know what I mean. And that's pretty much about it for us tonight, unless you have anything, Isaac, for us.
No, I don't suppose so. I suppose that about wraps things up. We thank you all again for tuning in to GWP Live or severe weather coverage. You will have to stay tuned for future editions of this. A lot of great information there, a lot more great things on a Great World Production, so you will have to check that out. But that about wraps things up for now. So until next time,
I'm Jacob Fulmer.
I'm Isaac Hedges, host of GWP Live. From all of us at GWP Live and Great World Productions, good night and God bless.